Good day, everyone. Welcome to my class. I'm Alieneth Grace Garcia of Sacred Heart Academy of Santa Maria, Bulacan. So before we start our session for today, let me show you some pictures. Okay, do you know them? Of course. So that is Iron Man or Tony Stark and Captain America or Captain Steve Rogers. Okay, next. Oh, still there. We have Captain America and Iron Man, but what can you see on the picture? They are fighting. So let us consider Captain America as the subject and Iron Man as the verb. So this is what happened if subject and verb does not agree with each other. Okay, next. Okay, still them. We have Iron Man and Captain America. But what can you see on the picture? Okay, they're shaking their hands. So if we will consider Iron Man as the verb and Captain America as the subject, we can see that the subject agree with the verb. So I'm sure you have an idea what is our topic for today. So our topic for today is subject-verb agreement. But before we proceed with our discussion for today, for our session let me share you our OOTD, our objectives of the day. Not the outfit class, but the objectives of the day. First, explain the basic rules of subject-verb agreement. Apply the rules of the subject-verb agreement. Appreciate the rules in obeying an agreement. So this is our OOTD or our objectives of the day. Now, let's start. Okay, so put in mind that the subject and the verb must agree in number. Always remember that, class, all right? So the basic rule in subject-verb agreement is that a singular subject must have a singular verb. A plural subject must have a plural verb. So please remember this basic rule as we proceed with our discussion. Okay? So let me show you some examples. We have, he tries to excel in sports. So we have he, singular, as a subject, therefore we take a singular verb. This white mouse is a pet, another singular subject, therefore we take singular verb. They try to excel in sports, we have plural subject, therefore we take the plural form of the verb. Next, these white mice are pets. So we have plural subject, and then we take the plural form of the verb. So always remember the basic rule, class. A singular subject must have a singular verb. A plural subject must have a plural verb. Okay? Please remember this basic rule. Now, let's start to discuss the subject-verb agreement rules. By the way, class, I will be just discussing 10 rules. Then we will discuss the other rules for in our succeeding session. All right? Let's begin. We have the first one, intervening phrases and clauses. So a verb must agree with its subject even if a phrase or clause comes between them. For example, the players who won the game are my classmates. So the subject here is the players. But we have intervening phrases such as who won the game. Please disregard or ignore it. Just focus on the subject, which is players, a plural subject. Therefore, we have are as the plural verb. Please disregard the intervening phrases. Always focus on the subject. Another example. The clown with the sad eyes looks pathetic. So the subject here is clown. Even though there are intervening phrases, the verb must agree with the subject. The subject is clown, singular. Therefore, we will have a singular verb. All right. So that is the first rule. Second, A singular subject followed by intervening words or phrases such as with, as well as, in addition to, accompanied by, together with, or no less than, takes singular verb. So this is similar with the first rule. For example, Jake, accompanied by his sisters, is enrolling in Shah or Sacred Heart Academy. So in this sentence, in this example, the subject is Jake. So even though there is an intervening word such as accompanied by sisters, you must agree with your subject. Jake is a singular subject, therefore we have the singular form of the verb is. Okay, please do not be distracted with the intervening words such as this, accompanied by sisters. Please focus on the subject. Another example, we have Daddy, as well as my brothers, is enjoying the party. So our subject here is Daddy. Please focus on the subject, okay? Not with the intervening words. We have Daddy as the subject, therefore we must take a singular form of the verb. That is the second rule. Third rule. The number of the subject is not changed by a prepositional phrase after the subject. So for example, the box of slides is on the table. So the subject here is box, but there is a prepositional phrase of slides. Please do not be distracted with the prepositional phrase class, please, and always focus on the subject box. Therefore, we use singular form of the verb. Another example, the evacuation of the office is the floor manager's responsibility. So again, even though there is a prepositional phrase such as of the offices, do not be distracted. Focus on the subject evacuation, which is singular. Therefore, you must take a singular form of the verb. Okay, so that is the first three rules which are similar with each other. Okay, they have this intervening words, clauses, or prepositional phrase. But then again, focus on the subject. The fourth rule, we have two or more singular subject joined by or nor must have a singular verb. Two or more plural subject joined by or nor must have a plural verb. For example, we have flagstone or brick makes a good patio. So both singular subject joined by or is singular. Therefore, we take the singular form. Another example, we have chop, apples or nuts make a good topping. So the two subjects are plural, therefore we take the plural form of the verb. Always remember, if you have two or more singular subject joined by or nor, you must have a singular form of the verb. If you have two or more plural subject joined by or nor, you must have a plural form of the verb. That is the fourth rule. This is the fifth rule. If one or more singular subject are joined by if one or more singular subject are joined to one or more plural subject by either or neither nor, the subject closest to the verb determines the agreement. So for example, either the conductor or the singers are attending the concert. So the subject closest to the verb is singers, which is plural, therefore you must take a plural form of the verb. Another example. Neither the players nor the coach is joining the provincial game. The subject closest to the verb is coach, which is singular. Therefore, we must take the singular form of the verb. Always try to observe what is the subject closest to the verb, which will determine if the verb will be singular or plural. Okay. Now, I hope you have understood the first 5 rules. Now, let's try. So I hope you have a pen and paper, class. So please answer these short exercises about the first 5 rules. Okay, number 1, my turtle live exclusively on flies. A child who is ignored expects little of others. Jim, together with his sisters, is or are at the movies. 4, either Kim or Barry is are organizing the ceremony. 5, neither the flight attendants nor the pilot knows how to calm the frightened. Okay, done? All right. So for number 1, we have singular subject. The answer is lives. Number 2, a child. There is an intervening phrases, but we have the subject child, singular. Therefore, the answer is expects, singular form of the verb. Number 3, we have Jim as the subject. There is an intervening, but we have only singular subject. Therefore, we take the singular form of the verb. Number 4, we have either Kim or Barry. Barry is the subject closest to the verb, therefore singular. We have the singular form of the verb. For number 5, neither the flight attendants nor the pilot. Pilot is the subject closest to the verb, therefore we must take a singular form of the verb. I hope you get 5 correct answers. Okay, so those are some short exercises for the first 5 rules. Now, let us proceed with this. A compound subject joined by and, generally plural, must have a plural form of the verb. The conjunction and acts as a plus sign. For example, glue and tape were holding the pieces. Pins and tacks were holding the pieces. So if you have compound subject joined by and, it is generally plural. Therefore, you must have a plural form of the verb because the conjunction and acts as a plus sign. All right. So I have exception to this rule. So exception occur when the part of the compound subject equal to one thing, and when the word each or every is used before the compound subject. For example, macaroni cheese is an easy dish to make. So it is equal to one thing, therefore, we take the singular form of the verb. Another example, each man and woman was waving a flag. So we use the word each or we take the singular form of the verb. Please take note of this exemption, class. Okay? 7. If a sentence begins with here or there, the verb agrees with the subject which follows it. So for example, here are the ways on how to preserve meat. So we take the plural form of the verb here because the subject which follows it is ways. So that is plural. Right? Another example, there is a huge gap between the rich and the poor. So we take the singular form of the verb here because the subject that follows it is gap, which is singular. So always try to check or observe what is the subject that follows it by here or there. So let me have a note about theirs and here's. So theirs and here's contractions for there is and here is, which contain the singular verb is, and therefore cannot be used with plural subject. So let me show you one example. There's only few restrictions on his freedom at this point. So this is wrong because theirs is a contraction for there is, which is singular. Okay, so you cannot use this. The correct will be, there are only few restrictions on his freedom at this point. Okay, so please take note of this. Okay, let's have the 8th rule. The collective nouns, okay? Collective nouns may be singular or plural depending on whether the individual members are acting individually or collectively. So for example, our family enjoys this restaurant. So we take the singular form of the verb because the family, collective noun, act as a in the collective. Again, so when your collective noun act collectively, you take the singular form of the verb. When your collective noun act individually, you take the plural form of the verb. Another example, the jury announces its verdict this afternoon. So this collective noun acts as a collective noun. Okay, so the individual members of the jury acts collectively, therefore you must take the singular form of the verb. Another example, the team are arguing among themselves because of their defeat. Okay, so in this collective noun, they are acting individually, therefore you should take the plural form of the verb. Another example, the orchestra are tuning their instrument. So the collective noun here are acting collectively or individually, therefore you take the plural form of the verb. So always remember, please try to understand the sentence. If the collective noun in that sentence are acting individually, you must take the plural form of the verb. If the collective noun are acting collectively, please of the singular form of the verb. Okay. 9. Plural-looking nouns. These are nouns that are plural in form but singular in meaning. Agree with singular verbs. Okay, for example, physics is a challenging subject. So physics is a plural-looking noun. Therefore, we must take a singular verb. The news was not interesting yesterday. Okay. So let's have a note about this rule. Some of these nouns name branches of knowledge, right? We have acoustics, ethics, economics, mathematics, or politics. Others have a singular meanings, but they have single units such as news or missiles. So when words such as acoustics and ethics do not name branches of knowledge, but rather indicate characteristics, their meanings are plural, and you must take plural verb. For example, the acoustics in the theater are excellent. Okay, so in this example, the acoustics, if we're looking now, does not name branches of knowledge, but indicate characteristic. Therefore, we must take the plural form of the verb. Class, please take note of this, all right? Okay, the third rule, we have nouns that have no singular form, use plural form of the verb. The jeans, pants, pliers, seesaw, shears, slacks, suspenders, trousers. For example, the jeans are cheap but durable. So nouns that have no singular form must use plural form of the verb. Another example, the mechanic pliers are missing. So you must take the plural form of the verb. Have note about that rule. Okay, if the word pair precedes one of these nouns, use a singular form of the verb. For example, a pair of jeans is all. So we use the word pair, therefore, we must use a singular form of the verb. For example, a pair of flyers is his gift to the princess. Okay, so that are the 10 basic rules of subject-verb agreement. Now, I wanted to know if you have understood my discussion for this session. So let's have a quiz. A directions. Write 10 sentences using appropriate subject-verb agreement rules. So it's up to you what will be the topic of your sentences. You might write sentences about what you're going to do after the ACQ quarantine due to COVID-19 virus. Okay, please send it to my messenger or to my email, alieneth26@gmail.com. All right. Before I end this session, I wanted to ask some questions. Okay, guys, please answer the following questions. First, why do people commonly get errors in using the proper verb in a sentence? What did say is the significance of understanding the rules of subject-verb agreement in contracting sentences? Okay, please send your answers to my messenger or to my email. I'll be waiting for your answers, class. Okay. Okay. Class for participating and listening. Good day, everyone. With teacher Annette, learning anytime, anywhere. So I'll be leaving you with this quotation. Don't be the same.